right. So thank you for joining me, Kevin, on this episode of the Assets and Algorithms podcast, where we discuss real estate and the intersection of technology and how the industry is being changed by that technology.
Derek,
Well,
thank you so much for having me.
absolutely. I appreciate you joining, and I'd love to jump right into it and actually just can you share a little bit about your role and how it fits into the bigger picture over there at Really?
Sure. So I've got a couple of different companies that I run. One is called Realty Funnels, which is a prop tech company. And then Real Lean Real Estate is the team that I've been running for a long time as a real estate broker. I've been a real estate agent and broker since 1999. In 2004, I became an owner of multiple Keller Williams Realty offices in the Cleveland, Ohio area. In 2009, I expanded my role to be a CEO of multiple Keller Williams Realty offices in the Tampa Bay area.
Mhm.
I was a corporate executive for Realgy, which is now called Anywhere Real Estate. I was running their corporately owned offices for Coldwell Banker Residential Real Estate in the St. Petersburg market area. And then my wife Lisa joined me as a real estate agent in 2012. She's been a CPA since 1993.
Mm.
And she and I then created our own real estate company called Real Lean Real Estate. And we have agents across the country as part of our team. Having agents on my team, working with home sellers, working with home buyers, working with investors, working with people who own Airbnbs and VRBOs, has allowed me to focus on the growth of my Realty Funnels software service. And I've been into CRM since really 2000, 2001. Over the past 4.5 years, I've been providing a CRM solution for real estate agents and brokers and brokerages, real estate investors, mortgage lenders, title officers, and that's Realty Funnels. And Realty Funnels is growing very quickly as a CRM solution that really helps real estate agents increase their lead generation, lead nurture, and lead conversion on
Mm.
autopilot.
Awesome, awesome. It sounds like you're doing a lot of amazing work. Congratulations on all of the success. And I'd love to hear with that background, what you think about or what you see as far as major shifts in the industry right now. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Sure. So, my primary focus is residential real estate. I do
Mhm.
work with a number of commercial real estate agents. That's a whole nother part of the industry. However, there seems to be some convergence of the commercial uh, powerhouses like CoStar is getting into more and more of the residential space. So there is a lot of overlap between the commercial and the residential because ultimately it's all about parcels of real estate. What I'm seeing right now, which is really fascinating, is a renewed focus on putting the customer experience first. In 2024, there were a number of lawsuits and settlements in the residential real estate space that had an impact on commissions and how consumers could pay for commissions, be charged for real estate commissions. And anytime you have sort of like a outside factor like that, courts are making decisions or the marketplace itself is experiencing a change like it did dramatically when the credit market collapsed in 2008. All sorts of change starts to sprout out from that. Currently, here it is, early April 2025. We're seeing some fascinating movement where Rocket Mortgage is purchasing Redfin. Redfin is changing what they are doing. Zillow is shifting what they are doing. There are so many fascinating little prop tech companies that I'm delighted to consult with. And there is this amazing opportunity to really improve the experience for consumers. And ultimately, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I think all of those tools and outlets that you've mentioned are changing the industry and making, like you said, making it better for the user, right? Making the experience better. I'd love to hear a little bit more about Realty Funnels. Feel free to tell the audience a little bit about what you guys are able to do and the type of results you're providing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that opportunity. My focus on having a database has been long held. Prior to being in residential real estate, I was in the restaurant business.
Mhm.
And of course, if you're running a really nice restaurant, you're going to have repeat customers. You're going to have people who make a reservation. They're always in every Friday night. They want table number 13 in the corner. You have a book of business. If you're a dentist, you have all of your clients, and they typically come in every 6 months for a cleaning and checkups and x-rays. You have a book of business. When I got into residential real estate, I was sort of surprised by how few real estate agents actually focused on building a book of business. And back in 1999, any of that type of technology was either going to be a Rolodex that you had on your desktop, or it would be scattered Post-it notes, or it'd be somebody would have a stack of business cards from people that they met, and they're like, oh, I got to keep up with this person. I need to call this person, and I should call this person. Well, it's all on the cloud now. Everything
Mhm.
about it is so fast and easy, and it can be simpler and more powerful. And yet, what I'm amazed from my point of view to see is that the adoption rate for real estate agents, whether commercial or residential, is, and this is coming from years of running real estate brokerages where I would see the adoption rates for our agents using the various tech tools that we were providing. Overwhelmingly, it would hover around 4%,
Okay.
which is bizarro world.
Right.
Here we are as a real estate brokerage providing our agents with amazing tools to help them grow their business and do more in less time and earn more money and earn it faster and easier and earn it repeat business. And overwhelmingly, agents just don't leverage the tech.
Mm,
And
mhm,
I always leveraged technology. Going back to about 2000, 2001, I was using various offline type of products that I could use on my computer, whether it be Outlook or Act, then
mhm,
Top Producer, and then all these different tools. And I kept outgrowing the tools. I kept that feeling that the tools were just not keeping up with what I was trying to accomplish, or I'd have to use a different technology to email a bunch of people, then I'd have to use a different technology to send them a video or to record a training, or it was like crazy. So I
mhm.
created Realty Funnels really to solve my own problems.
The best
Which is
solution.
always the best way. My wife Lisa and I were generating about $1.2 million a year in gross commission income, about $100,000 a month. And in the Florida market area, that's probably about eight or so transactions a month. And in order to get that type of thing going on, that type of momentum, you really just need to stay in front of enough people for a long enough period of time so that when they are ready to conduct business, they're thinking of you. So I built Realty Funnels to solve my own problems as a real estate agent performing at a high level. And now I've
Mhm.
made it available to agents across the globe, in fact, which is an honor and a delight. I've got clients in South Africa and Australia and New Zealand and England and Canada, of course, and the US. And we're just doing everything that we can to help real estate agents generate more leads, nurture those leads, and then
Mhm.
convert those leads on autopilot. And really, anything that you have to do more than once the same way, you can create a system to just do that. So that allows a real estate agent to stay focused on their strength zone, which
Mhm.
are those types of things that can't be automated, can't
Mhm.
be delegated, can't
Right.
be off to a system or to an assistant. And so I'm super excited about it. And we're just growing very quickly. And just amazing thing about technology is it just changes so fast. So in the 4.5 years that I've been building Realty Funnels, it's sort of like version 6.3 right now because it keeps changing.
Right. Right. Listen, I love that answer. I think the thing that really hit home for me is being able to leverage that technology to automate and take care of those things that maybe manual or repetitive that you don't necessarily need to touch, so that you're able to focus on those things that need that human touch, those things that you're not able to pass along to an assistant or someone else for delegation. So it sounds like an amazing tool that I think all realtors can benefit from. I know when I was in the field selling actively, CRM was everything, right? Happy to hear that story. And I'm really interested in what's working well for you right now in the growth of Realty Funnels and Real Lean, and what's been frustrating in the industry.
It's a great question. The If I could start with what's frustrating, and then
Okay.
I'll talk about what's working very well, because I don't like to stay in those low frequency, low vibe, low energy places for long. They
I
have to
blame you.
acknowledge it. They
Right.
have to be mindful of it. The interesting thing is that there is this vast divide in the real estate space, residential real estate agents. You've got a lot of agents who want to have success but aren't fully committed to having success. They
Mhm.
haven't made that full decision. I have no plan B. I am all in. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to make this full commitment to learn what I need to learn, to master what I need to master, to grow, to have the experiences that are going to push me into a higher level of production and capability. So in residential real estate, you have this triangle where the top 20% of agents are actually doing most of the business, and the bottom 80% of agents are sort of out there, either new, that's okay. We all started
Hmm.
as new
Right.
agents. They're
Right.
learning, that's okay. We all are learning. Or they're, not really committed to it. They work another job, but if a friend or a
Hmm.
family member calls, they're going to help them with a home sale or home purchase, and that's fine. I have no begrudging feelings of that. It's just the way that the industry is. The interesting challenge that you were asking about is getting the ones who are the top producers to raise their hand more clearly. I mean, I
Hmm.
can research and pretty much find some of the very top producers, like the top 1%, I can find them. But it's the top, additional 19% of agents that sometimes it's hard to figure out, hey, yes, I'm 100% serious and committed. Now, when I find those top agents, what I love about working with those top agents is that they're focused on giving their consumers a phenomenal experience. Moving is stressful. Getting your home ready for the market, having your home on the market can be a bit of a really challenging moment because you always need to have your house ready, but then nobody shows up for 3 days. And then you get it all ready for the open house and only one person came to the open house. And
Hmm.
so my very high level of respect and care for those top agents is that they are focused on giving their consumers the best possible experience. And so what I think is, hey, is there technology that can help them be present, be focused when they're with a consumer? I can't tell you how often I'm at a property where I'm representing the seller and it's a really nice, expensive home. Maybe it has some nice antiques. Maybe there's a security system for whatever reason I might need to be there. And the
Hmm.
buyer's agent comes in with the buyers, but the buyer's agent is just like texting the whole time. And I'm like, how in the world are you not focusing on this moment with your clients? And then
Right.
the buyers are asking me a bunch of questions, which is fine. Happy to answer
Mhm.
those questions, of course. But then the agent interrupts the buyer who's asking some really great questions. It's like, well, we need to get to our next showing. We've got another one it's like they're asking questions about this one. They're here. Let's address their concerns here. So, challenge, but in the same breath, those top agents are the best. And they're
Mhm.
they're committed to their own success and they know that they
Right.
can have all the success they want if they'll help enough of their consumers have the success that they want.
That's amazing, right? I think that speaks to a fundamental difference and what typically will have some agents be successful and others not as successful, right? So I love that you were able to pinpoint that and point that out.
Well, you were a top agent. I mean, you led your team to some really strong numbers. So you
Hmm.
know the difference. I mean, you've experienced this. There are those agents like yourself who are committed to their clients, and there are other agents who just it's not there in the gut. They're just not
Hmm.
feeling that this is an honor to be
Hmm.
working with people at a critical moment when they're making a real important, not only financial decision, but emotional decision. I mean, this is where they're going to celebrate their kids' birthdays. This is where they're going to
Right.
have over for the holidays. This is where they're
Mhm.
going to want to get home to at the end of a stressful or exhausting day. And we're in an honored position where we help them find that place, get that place, lock it down, make sure everything goes smoothly. And when they're ready to move on to the next chapter, we're there to help them exit in a nice, smooth manner.
Exactly, exactly. And I think not only looking at that experience as an honor, looking at that task as an honor, and treating it with that respect and allowing yourself to be present, as you mentioned, is one of the most important things. I think that's the bar, that's where the baseline is. Continuing on, I'd like to ask if you could solve one major challenge today, what would it be? And you know, if the tool doesn't exist or if the solution doesn't exist, how would you like it to be put out there?
The one major challenge, and there's this sort of interesting divide, the challenge is lead generation.
Mm,
And what I often hear from real estate agents who are curious about Realty Funnels, wondering if Realty Funnels is the right tool for them, but then also as a managing broker since 2009, agents always say, I just need some more leads. And I'm like, okay, so, you want to do this, you want to do that. And they're like, but those people aren't ready to buy yet. I'm like, okay,
mhm,
well, hold on, let's slow down. All of the people who are going to buy this week, all the people who are going to list their home and put it on the market this week, they either ran across you or some other real estate agent about 7 months ago, and somebody glommed onto them, nurtured that relationship, answered all those early questions, helped educate them about the market. And now that they're ready, they're moving forward. You're wanting to meet them today and have that happen. The reality of it is, most agents don't actually have a lead generation problem. They've encountered all the clients that they would need to encounter to have a phenomenal year. They do zero follow up. They do zero nurture. They do nothing to try to convert those people at the appropriate moment by being a resource for as long as it takes to make that opportunity come to fruition. And so, if there was one challenge I could really solve, the challenge is actually a mindset problem that I would love to solve for real estate agents. And that is, how well would you sleep at night if you knew that you met 5 people today, and then you go out and you meet 5 people tomorrow, and you meet 5 people the day after that, and you do that every workday, and 7 months from now, all those people will work with you?
mm,
I'd sleep incredibly well. Okay, then what to do with the 5 people you meet today, the 5 people you meet tomorrow, the 5 people you meet the next day, so that they are working and they're like, I don't know. But you tell me you need more leads. You don't have a lead gen problem. You have a lead nurture and a lead conversion problem. And that's the problem that I'm really focused and committed on solving.
Listen, that's a great problem to solve. I think that's one of the problems that needs tackling today, especially in the real estate industry. And I love that you're bringing software to the marketplace to help solve that problem and that issue. And hopefully it allows agents to be more present, right? And be more organized and, taking on this task and this honor, as you described it, helping these clients make the biggest purchase of their life. I want to thank you, Kevin, for joining us today. I want to thank you for your offering to the marketplace. And if anybody wants to reach out to you, have a chat with you, could you tell us where you can be found?
So the easiest way is to just jump on to realtyfunnels.com. And from there, they can easily get in touch with me. They can easily grab time with me from there. Email kevin@realtyfunnels.com. Those go directly to me. If you wanted to book a strategy call with me to talk more about your unique situation, you can do that by going to this particular website, strategy.realtyfunnels.com, and you'll get on my calendar. And I would welcome the opportunity, Derek, for any of your listeners to have that opportunity to meet with me. It'd be my pleasure. I love what you're doing. I think that, right now, AI and all these different ways in which technology and, as your website, assets and algorithms. I mean, there is stuff happening right now with tech
Mhm.
that real estate agents can easily leverage if they simply make a choice, make a commitment, say to themselves, I am doing this. I am going to, first off, invest in myself
Mm,
to improve what I'm doing so that I'm not so busy jumping around doing things that aren't really effective, like door knocking or cold calling. It's like
mm,
get your ideal people to just chase you down, and technology can take that off your shoulders so
right.
that you can be present when you actually are working with a home seller or home buyer or investor.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And I thank you for that insight and that input, Kevin. And thank you for joining us again for another episode of Assets and Algorithm.
Derek, thank you.